Honey, and welcome to my home. I'm CM Coleman. Today's video is not the video I had planned on making because, well, it's been like 1,000 degrees outside. No one wants to go outside. So I thought I would do something inside that I've been wanting to do for ages, and it even involves this very shot. If you can see back there, you can see this hutch. Let me show you a closer view. But this realistically is just a bookcase that my grandmother had that's on top of a dresser that my grandmother had. I've had this for years since I've moved in here. And I've always wanted, I know this is hard to believe, but there are not lights in that at all. That is mirror reflecting the light which is in front of me. And during the daytime, it's really great. But at night, it's just dark. I mean, just absolutely dark. So I knew that I wanted some lights in there, but I also knew that I didn't want lights in there that would obstruct or like take away from the bookcase itself. And it wasn't going to be easy because I thought about strip lights, but the strip lights that I saw, they just involved a whole lot of weird things and trying to get them to configure to the what I needed wasn't great. So then I found, I'm not going to even try to pronounce the name of the manufacturer of this light. If you're wondering all the things, they are linked down below in the description. But I found these mini spotlights, which are basically three major components. You have the plug-in part, you have the hub, and then you have the light. The cool part about this is the light itself has a cord which is 6.4 feet long. Which is really good because that way I knew I could get my lights wherever I want it, and I have not nailed them down or screwed them down into the exact position in there because I might not. I might never do this in case I want to take this out and do something else with it at a later time. But I knew that I needed to do this. I knew that I really wanted to do this, but I also knew that I did not want to destroy the bookcase itself. Yeah, I was going to have to drill a hole into the back of it so that way I can get the little connector to the hub in there. But the connector to the hub was small enough that I could use just a small-ish drill bit to drill into it. But let's get this started, and I can show you the different steps that I went through to get this process going. It's really easy. I'm going to apologize now for some of these angles because this was in a really awkward spot to try to do this. But the first thing you need to do is empty out the area that you are going to try to work in. And that's what I did. I emptied out the area, got it ready to go, and then we're ready to drill. I thought that I would be drilling with that nice size drill bit, which was just big enough to put the cord into the hole. But turns out I didn't need that at all. The back lifted out and it was ready to go. Hooray! Once I saw that the back was lifting out, I was like, oh, time to stop. I will do something about that spot, but hey, it's okay. So cleaning this area is really important, making sure that it's all nice and not filled with dust. Then I could pull the cord through. Once the power cord was through, I could plug it into the hub. The hub is where everything connects to that hub, all of the cords and everything. But I should show you what the lights look like to begin with, because that's going to be important, how the lights looked. So these are the lights. I'm unboxing them right now. The lights are really simple. There's a disc that you can use to just stick it down to the ground. That's the light itself, and that is the packet that has 2 screws in it. So yes, you can connect this or screw it in. That's the light itself. It is a nice size light. The cord is 6.4 feet long. They did twist tie it together, which was not my favorite thing, but it did work. The cords are really nice and thin, so that made it nice. It does have a spot that you can then fish the cord through, and you are all ready to put it into place. Those will hold it. So putting it to place was simple. You just plug the connector in. Once I can get the connector in. And like I said, I apologize for these angles. It's just it was in a really, really weird spot to do this. I will use all 6 lights. That means I'm going to be using 2 lights per shelf, which will then make it really nice and bright. So I just plug it in. They do slide in pretty easily. I was just having a weird time with that one. Then we are ready to put the lights on the shelves. So I just put the lights on the shelves and we were ready. So now this is just a case of getting the lights in there. Now I did the easiest thing that you could possibly do, which was just move around a few things so that way I could run the cables behind the items that were already in the quote-unquote hutch, bookcase, whatever you want to call it, so that way I didn't have to try to secure the cables down, do any of that stuff. I just kept plugging them into the hub, positioning my light spotlight into position, and then running it. This made it super easy to do, super fast and simple, and I think it looks really kind of good, simply because with everything which is in the hutch, you really can't see what's there, and it still gives me the ability to reposition the lights. Here's the thing on which I really thought about, is that at other times of the year, I will be putting different things into that hutch. So if I were to stick those down or use the screws to actually put the lights down more permanently, that would then limit where I could put things. This way, I can switch this around as much as I possibly want and put in different items, put in seasonal items, make sure that everything works. But the big thing is to try to make sure that I get those cables so that when they are against the door or against the frame, they don't show up as much. Now, I was lucky, as I have, and will explain a little bit later, is that I did have a gap in between the shelf and the face frame to shove the light cables, the little cables in there, because they are very, very, very small and thin. It took a little maneuvering, a little jumbling around to get those to fit in there, but they do fit. They do fit really well, and you might have to do this. I mean, the close-up of that is just me messing with that in there, trying to make sure that those cables get into position like they should be. And then once they are in position, it really is pretty simple to do, making sure that everything is placed where it should be, and try to get the cables as close together as you possibly can, because that will make things go a little bit easier. Now, I had to also try to think about where I was going to hide the actual hub of that. And I could have, could I put that someplace else? Sure, I could have. But I thought, no, we'll just put it in the one spot. Once again, I did not realize that the camera was not pointed down. So we will quickly go through this. And then once it was all in place, I then realized just put everything back into the spot that it needs to be in. But then the next thing is, how am I going to turn this off and on? Because I didn't want to use the remote, which you do not have to use with this. Instead, I am using a Wise plug, so that way I can turn it on and off with my Wise app, or with I have Google Home Assistant, and so I can turn it on and off with that. Once that is done, I think that this looks pretty good. Now, this is sort of in the evening. This is darkness. This is what you get at nighttime when it's pretty dark, and then next thing you know, it's turned on. I really like this. I like the look of it. I like the amount of light that it gives. I like the feeling that it has. And you can turn it on, turn it off, no problem. And I can set a timer. That's what makes this wonderful. And it makes me very, very happy to have it done. So then it was all together. Are you ready for that? It was all together. It only took a few seconds to do this. Now let's see if it makes any difference. See that right there? And while right now it doesn't look like it makes a whole lot of difference, yes, I'm looking into my viewfinder, when it goes off, you can see that there is some difference. Now, where it makes the biggest difference is at night. At night, this completely changes everything, because then it gives me a lot of light in this room. And the cooler part about this is, with the mirror backing it up, it really projects those lights out into the room. And this suddenly became something really easy to do, really quick. And what's going to be really interesting about this, I'm saying really a lot, but you get the idea, is going to be the fact that this is a super sunny day. In fact, this is so sunny, it's going to be 94 degrees today. There are no clouds in the sky. So not that big of a deal, but we are going to start heading into, actually we've already started heading into the shorter days. And as we get towards December, this light in this hutch will make a world of difference, because by the time the shortest day of the year happens, I think our sunset is at like 5 something. So it's dark most of the day. All right, that's a total exaggeration. But you get the idea. It gets dark really early, and so I can turn the hutch on and have it light up my room. Now, the one thing I did find that I'm not real crazy about is that it has a cool white light, which is actually, I think, kind of creepy. But it's okay. It works for this situation. It really makes the room so nice to have. And the coolest part about this was, it was so easy to do. I mean, I didn't even have to, you saw that. I didn't end up finishing the hole in the back of it, so I'll be able to repair it, because the board itself just lifted out of the way, and suddenly I could put that cord through there. All the cords went up. Why am I telling you things that you've already saw? Yes, this is going to be super important for making this room really nice. This is going to be super important for even making these shots look better, because even though, like I said, even though it's a really bright day and the mirror is reflecting that right now, you will see this later on, and even when it's off, you saw how it sort of dims down just a bit when it's off. Yeah, it'll make a difference. It makes me happy. It was so simple to do, and the cords are thin enough that you can probably run them in between, like I did, in between your shelf and the frame, face frame of the cabinet, without having to drill a ton of holes and damaging your item. This way I can put it in there, take it out. It would be great for artwork. It would be great to put in plants. Now that being said, you do have to think about the fact that you do have a hub, and the distance you can go from that hub is only 6.4 feet. But yeah, I think it's really, really worth it. It has changed the way that I live in this room in the evening, because I can just turn the hutch on and the entire room lights up. I really, really, really like that. It's been a lot of fun to do. It took no time at all, and it made me very happy. This one was a really good thing. And in the heat of the day, or I should say in the heat of the night, because it's still really hot at night, turn that on, walk around. It's just so, so nice. I think you should think about where places are in your house that you could put something like this hutch light could become a very easy night light, displaying your glassware while it also illuminates where you want to go. I'm having so much fun with this. If you like this video, give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to share and leave a comment if you'd like to. That way it lets the YouTube algorithms know that this is a video that other people should see. This one was so easy. I really recommend that if you have a cabinet that you could put some light in, you might want to do that. It was a lot of fun. At this time, I'd like to thank these wonderful people who actually got to see me put this in. I filmed it beforehand, put it in, and so they saw it before this video even comes out. But they also get these videos early, and they get a behind-the-scenes weekly vlog, which I talk about what's going on in my life. And this really does help support the channel so I can do bigger and better projects, because like I've mentioned, we've got Christmas coming up, and I have some great plans for Christmas. And we'll see what we can do with it. This will be such a fun kind of second half of the year. I hope you're having a great year. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope I get to see you again the next time you stop by.